Yep.
Alright guys, welcome to the Forest Gumpers channel. I'm Dylan.
I'm Evan.
Welcome to the second episode of the Forest Gumpers channel. And today, Evan, what are we going to talk about actually?
I'd rather be talking about self-improvement and the content creators you can watch about it.
We're going to talk about specifically the self-improvement space, as well as our stints in self-improvement, as well as how we deal with a lot of the types of problems that the world actually faces on a very daily basis.
Okay.
Evan, starts off.
So, we can talk about the main problem about like a very common problem that's occurring all over the world right now which is depression and other mental health issues. So, over here it says that approximately 280 million people have depression in the world, which is obviously a really big number, and that's really not good, especially during COVID when it spiked because everyone is stuck at home.
What do you think of that? Or what do you think about that, bro?
I feel like depression, it's caused by a lot of things, obviously, but like it spiked especially during COVID because there's not a lot of social interactions, which makes it even harder for them to deal with their emotions.
Social interactions, yeah. I feel like humans being like social creatures, right? They crave that kind of interaction that even me and you are having. So
Yeah, correct.
particularly, right, what happened to you in COVID? Like what were you doing actually?
I think I can say for a lot of people, I was just at home playing games, eating, sleeping, watching YouTube videos. Basically doing nothing at all. You don't even
That's
get to
a
talk with
crazy
your friends.
depressing life, honestly.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. It's really
It's
bad.
crazy depressing.
Yeah. Like, it's really not good. And like the thing is that till now, because of COVID, a lot of people have retained this habit even after the lockdown has ended. So what happens is that they're still stuck at home, eating, sleeping, playing games, repeating.
It's an extremely bad habit actually,
It's a really
especially
bad.
now during the school holidays, right?
Yeah.
A lot of guys, right, especially they're actually staying at home and now they're just retaining and doing these kind of things.
Yeah, correct.
Like then they keep on resetting.
It's not good.
They keep on resetting themselves back to day one, honestly.
Yeah.
Can you speak about like why this causes depression actually? Let's like establish a link between that.
So, like you said just now, humans are social animals, so we crave the interaction between each other, right? So, firstly, when you think of a depressed person, do you think of someone who's always outside, always talking to people, or someone who's always stuck at home, maybe like under the blankets looking at their phone? You always think about like, oh, it's the guy who always just stays at home. That's why we automatically link depression with, right?
I feel like right. So what I think is when they look at Instagram itself, right, and they see and they compare themselves to so many other people that are doing better than them.
Correct.
Then they will start to feel like the disparity, especially by how they see the person getting better and better while they are getting worse and worse and worse.
Correct. Yeah.
That I feel like that causes a lot of depression, honestly. What do you think?
That's true because social media, you always see the best moments of someone's life in social media. You always see like the footage of people maybe just straight up hiking in the mountains, like laughing with their friends and everything, and then maybe you're just stuck in the city, sitting at home on your chair, just like staring at the phone. Obviously, you will feel some form of like just you feel like you're missing out on something.
Disparity.
Disparity.
A lot of like comparison.
Correct.
Then I feel like for guys itself, right, when they look at like images of like how to say, like let's say like an attractive woman, like it tends to get them to feel like the gap of like disparity also, I feel.
They will feel like they're not good enough for that kind of woman. That's the thing.
I think that makes sense. Like that's why the self-improvement space is so important.
Yeah, because like if not, you'll be stuck at home still thinking that you're not good enough for this woman, and what happens is that your motivation just spirals downwards. The more like shit you feel, the more you don't want to help yourself, and it's just like a self-repeating cycle all the way to like you're just unable to basically do even the simplest task. Sometimes they just end up even ordering food online just to avoid going out.
You just be yourself,
Yeah, basically.
Just be yourself.
And it becomes self-hatred, and eventually it will spiral
downwards.
Yeah.
Spiral downwards and get worse and worse.
Yeah, correct.
That's a huge issue actually.
It's a big issue.
It's a negative cycle that a lot of people are finding themselves hidden in, and they keep on just having that kind of motion, and they go lower and lower and lower and lower.
Right.
And then you start to feel like, hey, why am I so unlucky in life? And things like that.
Yeah. The thing is that I feel like the more you go out, the higher chances you have of experiencing something that's good for you.
That's genuine, that's authentic.
Yeah, correct. So your luck is really based on what you do in life, I feel.
I feel like whatever you do, right, equals to the amount of like hard work that you put in. Like whatever you get, right, it always equals to like how to say. What success lies in is actually your daily routine and how you actually run your life, I feel. It's not really created by a huge margin of luck. There is luck for sure.
Yeah.
But it is considered luck that we are all still able to talk to each other and you are still able to watch this episode right now, honestly.
Correct.
So Evan, actually you told me before that you actually were in a depression stint. So share more about depression. What are like your thoughts on it?
Okay, so to be fair, my experience was not really the worst of the worst. I would say like it's maybe around borderline, almost depression, that kind. Basically, you realize that you have really, really low energy. You just don't want to do anything at home. Basically, what I mentioned just now. So you end up like maybe even skipping out on meals. Yeah. Basically, sometimes when my parents ask me, "Hey, you want to get dinner downstairs?" I just tell them to go ahead. And what I do, I stay at home, play games, chilling there.
With friends, is it?
No, just by myself. Just playing by myself or to escape. That's another thing. Escapism is a very big issue also.
What am I escapism?
Basically, a lot of people, they tend to just scroll through social media or play games just to escape some maybe inner thought that's bothering them. Maybe they're feeling like a lack of self-worth. Or so what they do, they open up their Instagram or they watch content about how people value themselves. And what happens is that ironically,
they start self-depreciating even more.
Yeah, ironically, they feel even worse afterwards. So yeah, basically we can talk about that.
So that's basically depression, like in a short manner.
Not exactly depression, but it's what that will lead to it if it continues on for a long time.
I feel like that's a good point, because right, when you see people and then they accomplish more than you, right, you start to spiral downwards even more.
Yeah.
But you are also in that part of escapism where you want to escape it. So you want other people escape it, but you don't actually escape it by yourself.
And you feel even worse and worse. Yeah, it's like that one.
That's really interesting actually. Wow. That makes sense. So what I can share about is actually the anxiety issues that I used to face. During primary school, right, I feel like many people go through different types of mental illnesses actually.
Primary school.
Yeah.
It's not talked about often.
It's not talked about very often because people are very embarrassed to like share these kind of things. Like, I'm not sure about it, but were you quite embarrassed to actually share about this kind of depression stints for a period of time?
I felt that I was just more of bothering other people than actually helping myself.
And they can't really, people that aren't trained in this manner, they cannot help you in a way because they don't know how to tell you how to make you feel better and everything.
Correct,
like
yeah.
That. For anxiety, right, it's like you go into a state of panic and you actually lose control of yourself. That's what I feel. And you start to become very anxious over the smallest types of things. And sometimes it's over nothing.
So basically, it can just occur out of nowhere.
It starts out of nowhere. Even depression, it also happens something like that.
That's true.
Because when you spiral downwards, right, you become depressed. But when you think about it, you might not even know the reason why you were actually feeling these types of feelings.
Yeah.
You just feel it because you're not maybe accomplishing a goal or something like that. You feel like you're lacking behind.
Correct. And sometimes to find the reason, or I would say meditating is a good way.
Searching for yourself.
Searching for yourself, yeah. You have to go out more. You really have to go out more. You have to meet more people, find out about what they're doing with their life, and then just relate with them. And then you learn something. You slowly learn things that will help you out eventually.
You can spend time alone also, but it needs to be in a conducive environment, such as going for nature walks.
Correct, yeah.
In the woods. It really helps you.
Especially if you live in like a city area. The city area is, I feel city area is not really good for our mental health in the long run.
For people that live in the city areas, I feel like they will have like they will have higher rates of depression, anxiety, as well as mental illnesses compared to people that are living a much more relaxed, laid back kind of lifestyle. Because the city rush, right, it actually gets to your head after a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by the city rush?
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's
what they call the rat race.
Yeah, rat race. Basically, everything that you're taught since young is to, like we said, the rat race. Basically, we have to study hard to get a good job, to earn a lot of money, to live a good life. Basically, that's the general trend.
And consumerism is a huge issue within the city area and landscape area space.
True.
And the demographics of the city is designed to keep you wanting consumerism So when you look at billboards in the city, right, and all the advertising, right, advertising is actually very specifically designed to hook you on. They have specific analytics teams as well as scientists that are working against you to actually want you to maybe eat that sweet treat.
Correct. Speaking of that, I recently started reading Atomic Habits. Yeah, I borrowed it from a library, and over there, it said something along the lines of, there are companies that spend literal millions of dollars to find out what's the perfect dose of sugar to put in your sweet drinks, or
the perfect dose of dopamine as well.
Yeah, and the perfect kind of crisp in your chips to keep you addicted to it. Yeah. Especially like maybe the color scheme of the packaging, you see Coke is like a bright red, so when you see it, people instantly realize, oh, that's Coke, and they immediately want to buy it. Yeah.
Especially McDonald's as well.
Yeah.
They use a lot of things such as red, yellow,
very bright
colors that are very bright.
Yeah.
They appeal to you, and the burger itself, right, the color of it is also very appealing, like the shades of it.
Correct.
You realize it blends in very well for each other.
That's true.
And the advertising of like the images of the food, right, is always, it looks so appealing.
Correct.
Because they have specific ad designs, right? They are actually used to drag you in, to pull you in towards that space.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
correct. Like sometimes I once watched this video of like people filming commercial shots. You realize that most of maybe sometimes you can see like they drizzle sauce or whatever thing. Yeah, most of them are not actual sauce. They're just straight up paint. So it's like
because you don't want the sauce to get, because there's a lot of retakes in the videos.
That's one thing.
So you don't want it to spoil.
That's one thing, and another one is that the paint. I feel like it's basically much cheaper than if you just straight up use sauce. And what happens? And then the color also looks way more brighter than
and appealing.
Yeah, and appealing than the actual sauce. So when you see the actual burger, it's like, why is it so dull?
Yeah. And the food that goes into it, right? The amount of calories and everything and the nutrients, right? It works kind of against you. It's not good for you.
Yeah, and the worst part is that there's a lot of additive elements, whatever chemicals they put inside that makes you keep coming back for more. Yeah, like maybe MSG. I feel like that's also...
MSG is like a true thing, right?
Yeah.
With the amount of sodium and salt inside it, right, as well as the preservatives, right, you just want to come back for more.
Correct. Yeah.
When you eat like a good salad, right, you feel like you're satiated, you feel fine. But after a burger, do you realize you always feel even more hungry?
Yeah, correct. Like even if your stomach feels full, or you feel like, I still want to munch on something afterwards. Then you end up looking for fries. You eat, and then maybe afterwards, or some people, they may have eating disorders. They end up going back to order more. Yeah, ice cream, maybe McNuggets, all those. And basically that leads to obesity lah.
And overindulging.
And overindulgence, yeah.
So what can the self-improvement space, right, what can it actually do for us?
It helps. I realize for me personally, the self-improvement space helped me realize a lot of these problems. Because when you notice these problems, you will want to act on it, basically. Like, for me, I realized that I've been I didn't even notice that I've been overindulging and just staying at home playing games, just trying to fill in that dopamine rush.
Still currently?
Currently, still recovering from it. I'm still experiencing it, but I try to go out more often.
So you're on like a relapse kind of journey.
Yeah.
I feel like cutting out the bad habits is really important, but it's really difficult because the problem with addicts is that, right, when you're addicted to something, right, you always tell yourself that we always start by saying, okay, let me just try once. I think I won't get addicted to it. Then, let me just try a few times.
Then, this is the last time. And afterwards, this is the last time again. Last time again. Yeah.
Then it starts going, oh shit, I'm actually addicted to this.
Yeah.
I can't rely on this to live.
Correct. And the worst part is that you're too embarrassed to ask for help afterwards.
Yeah. Because the thing is that, right, you think that it's like a hassle to other people as much as it is to you. You know what I mean?
And you also fear that people will judge you for the addiction.
That's correct. So how does self-improvement space help, actually? Back to the question.
Well, like I said, it helps you notice these issues. Then afterwards, it helps you find solutions. They don't exactly give the solution, they help you find it. Because some solutions work for some people. Like for some people, they are good at just grinding away at work, right? Like you're good at it. Yeah. Like some people can do that, but for me personally, I really can't.
So there are two types of people. I call them the on and off season kind of people and always on season kind of people. So people that are always on season, right, they can go off the season, like maybe every week, right, they can just take 1 or 2 days off.
Yeah.
And they can just relax and they can go through the whole year like that. But I can't. I have on and off seasons. So when I'm on the on season, I'm really focused, I'm locked in and I'm doing my work. But when I'm in the off season, completely do all the stuff that is like the things that I like to do.
Yeah.
And you only do it for maybe hopefully it's like 1 or 2 weeks. Then after that you can get back into the on season.
Correct.
So what kind of person are you, honestly? Are you always the forever kind of on people, but then you can take like days off?
Actually, I'm not very sure because I haven't really found myself really grinding away at work before. Because the the issue is that I've actually never really studied before in my entire life. So I haven't really had to work that hard to actually experience like an on and off season. But I'm trying to find out like what sort of person I am like
When you're in
nowadays.
the on and off season, right, it's like it's really fun also because when you're in the on season, you're out there, you're chopping trees, you're doing the work, you're getting all the habits ticked off, but you're really tired and you really need a break
Yeah,
after I think a long stint in the on season. You can only go maybe at most like 2 to 3 weeks in the on season before you need like a few days in the off season.
that's true.
Or
Yeah.
like 1 to 2 days, it's enough for you. You can just take the days, watch a movie, recover. After that, get back into the on season.
Right.
But there are some people that can progressively do it across time. That's actually really well balanced, and that requires a lot of self-discipline.
That's true. It's difficult to achieve it, but like I feel if you stay self-conscious, like if you realize that you're slipping back into bad habits, you can
You have to be real with yourself.
Yeah, you have to be real with yourself.
You
Yeah.
have to tell yourself that, yeah, I am actually slipping back into to the
Yeah.
bad habits, and I am actually like being defeated in one way or another. So I need to actually like up my game.
Basically, like this thing won't happen overnight. It can take years. It can take years.
And you need slow progressive action. So
Yeah.
the thing about it is that what I learned is that you need to have progressive overload. So you slowly build the habits up. When you want to start something, right, and you want to do like let's say I want to do 3 hours of math a day, example, which is quite a fair bit actually. It's actually quite a lot. So 3 hours of math, right? If I want to do it, I need to start with the first page. So maybe on the first day, right, I only start with doing 2 pages of math. Then I go and do whatever the rest of the day is. I'm just gonna do whatever I need to do for the rest of the day. And I'm only gonna do 2 pages of math. Then you will feel the yearn to do more. Like, hey, why am I doing so less? Then you'll go to the 3 page. Then it works like the bad habit. So you start off very less, but then you start to do more and more, and you're like, oh shit, I'm addicted. But now you use it in your favor.
That's true. Yeah. Like, have you also heard like the method that some people use, which is basically you just tell yourself, I'm just gonna do for 10 minutes. But instead, what happens is that you basically just become very concentrated on the work, and you do way more than 10 minutes. It's a good way to help you.
It's like slowly. Then you're like, oh wow, it's compounded to so much.
Right. Like another method is to make the like I read in Atomic Habits, you have to make the habit attractive. You have to make it easy to reach.
Make it part of your identity.
Make it
That's
part
what
of
they
your
say in the
identity,
book
correct?
also.
Yeah. Correct.
When people want to quit a bad habit, they don't say I want to quit smoking. They say I am not a smoker.
Correct.
That's the thing. So when you have a new ideology and a new self-identity, right, it's much easier for you to incorporate your character to do these kind of things.
Correct. So instead of saying I want to start studying, you have to say I want to become a hardworking student. And you also give yourself like
not I want to become.
I
am a hardworking student.
Then you realize that you think, oh, if I'm in this situation, what would a hardworking student do? And you always end up picking the right option. And that's how you slowly progress.
Okay, so what YouTubers do you think actually can help the self-improvement space? In like helping like our viewers right now?
Firstly, I have to say that the self-improvement space, or there are 2 kinds of channels. There's one that advocates for just pure hard work. You have to just basically
Like
keep
David
grinding.
Goggins.
Yeah, you keep grinding, just pure discipline. Then there's another half that also makes you focus more on yourself. You have to.
So that's where the self comes in.
Yeah, the self comes in. That's where you have to spend time with yourself. You don't have to keep grinding every day. You, like maybe like you said, on and off seasons, you spend some time. You have to do the hard work first. Then afterwards, you let yourself do the things you want to do. Right.
You get a reset. You get a mental reset. So what kind of self-improvement university actually recommend?
I'll recommend this guy called Jack Pigott. If I'm not wrong, it's spelled JAK space PIGGOTT. He's quite young, so he can relate to us, and along with a lot of our audiences.
What does he teach?
He preaches more on like the work-life balance kind of living. Basically, work hard, play hard. He encourages you to just start the day off strong, wake up early, complete all your work, and afterwards just stay on the play now. Okay.
2 last YouTubers I can recommend is actually Hamza Ahmed as well as Jack Hawkins. These guys really helped me a lot. in actually allowing me to actually progress like the next level and take my game up. Because these guys are very like work life kind of guys, but then at the same time they do like monk mode scenes where they just go in full work retreat. Then after that, then you just go enjoy their time after.
Wow.
So I think to end it off, right, I think self-improvement itself, right, is actually very subjective to the individual.
Yeah, because like you can get a lot of advice from all these people, but the thing is that you cannot use all of them. It doesn't apply to all of your lives. You have to find out.
See the thing.
Yeah, you see the thing. You have to basically just filter out and then process, then absorb whatever information is important for you.
Yes, I agree. So basically, right, whatever we feel is that sometimes these YouTubers they might not advise the best kind of things. So it's really important to take out what you want and only take what you need. Make sure to subscribe to the Forest Gumpers channel.
Leave a like and share the video with your friends and family.
Turn on the little bell notification icon.
Yes, and leave comments on feedback or maybe some video ideas you want us to cover about.
We'll see you next time. Bye bye.